most fans still remember what an impact you made in 2008 when the Kizarny vignettes started to air on SmackDown. And I wanted to ask you, how was that pitched to you? Was that a creation of yours? And could you say a phrase or two in Carney and explain to the audience how that ancient language works? That's a lot in one question, I know. Sorry.
So when I first started riding with Jake the Snake, he thought that it was cool that I was doing the carnival stuff, and he's like, "You should stick with that because Vince McMahon really likes that kind of, the carnival stuff, and pro wrestling was, kind of born in the carnival." And so I'm like, "Okay, I'm with that," and I enjoy doing it, and I kind of thought, if I can parlay this into sort of a parallel career, then that sounds good, and if Vince will like it, well, that's the goal. So when I had my sit down with Vince, I didn't use terms like freak show or circus. I used carnival. Again, just more for wrestling purposes. And we got along great. I could see the sort of maniacal, I could see the wheels turning as we were discussing stuff, but I chose to look like that at the time, but I was wrestling as Sinn Bodhi, but I had the blonde sort of Rip Rogers, Michael Hayes sort of hair with the black beard and, that kind of stuff. And I was very flashy, visually. So he liked all that just fine. And then, he's like, "Okay, let me think about this." And so the next day, I think this was like at an Unforgiven. And so the next day on Raw, he come up to me at ringside and he's like, "We're going to call you, Kizarny. That's Carney for Carney. You get it?" And I'm like, "Yes, this is Dizu." And he asked me if I could speak Carney, and I said, "Yes, this is Kizan." And so then I was off to the races. And I remember coming back to Florida a couple of days afterwards. Dusty was there, and he giggling, and he's like, "Baby, me and Bear Windham, we was up in gorilla position, and we thought you talking to Mr. McMahon, and we're hitting buttons trying to hear," because the ring is all mic'd, so you can hear everything, And we hitting buttons trying to hear what y'all talking about. Well, eavesdrop, baby. Well, we couldn't hit the right buttons. Me and Bear Windham, we don't know nothing about no buttons, and so we just started lip syncing and making up shit and stuff. So what do you say? What do you say? And I told him they wanted to call me Kizarny, and Dusty was just like, all right. And I'm like, so that's kind of how that went. So I was thoroughly, I'll say I'm not going to squawk and bitch about it. I'm going to say I was thoroughly happy for the opportunity. I wish it was something like, so the premise of the character was certainly up my alley, and the visual was me. But I wasn't the biggest fan of the name or speaking Carney, because I thought Vince really wanted me to be a babyface, and I thought that Carney is just that gibberish is just going to sort of be irritating, and that's not what you want out of a babyface. Out of a heel, sure,